Hey folks, Donnie Righside here with Sportsbookreview.com, heading down the backstretch towards the NFL playoffs. We do want to take a look at some key divisional matchups here that are going to end up over the season determining some playoff seeding at this time. I do want to focus today's episode on the NFC South, obviously taking a look at the standings and the seedings there. New Orleans at 9-4 in first place due to tiebreakers over the Carolina Panthers, also sitting at 9-4. Atlanta 8-5 in third place. Now we all know the disappointing season that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have had, bringing up the rear at 4-9 overall. But heading down the stretch, there's a lot to be won here. Do I think either one of these teams here are going to be able to claim the top overall seed or the second seed in the NFC heading into the playoffs? I do not. I think those teams are reserved as the Philadelphia Eagles as the top seed and the Minnesota Vikings as the number 2 seed as it plays out the rest of the season. But if we take a look who's going to win this division, because even grabbing maybe that third overall seed, you get that home playoff game in the first round, and you never know what happens there in the first or second seeds if you can wind up maybe with the NFC title game. It's your advantage being at home. Obviously, we see two dome teams with Atlanta and the New Orleans Saints if one of those can creep up. If we take a look at the Saints itself heading into this weekend's play, they're going to play the New York Jets. As we've seen, Jets pretty much season over at this point, lost their starting quarterback. Bryce Petty's going to get a start down in the Dome to play them. Line is 16.5, depending on where you're shopping at this point. That should be an easy victory. Then they're going to be home to the Atlanta Falcons in a revenge game, as you saw a few weeks back on Thursday Night Football. Alvin Kamara got knocked out of that game early. That was a pretty big injury heading through the stretch of that football game. A lot of other players on the Orleans got dinged up as well. So they'll be in revenge mode. I think they can certainly win that football game. Then they're going to bring up the last game of the season at Tampa Bay, pretty much just playing for pride. I think New Orleans is going to be able to hold down this division and take that and get that number 3 overall seed. If you look at the Carolina Panthers here, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, and Atlanta to end the season. The reason why I went over these 3 games, that's going to be a tough stretch here. You're not getting Green Bay with Hundley, a quarterback. You're now going to get Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers. That's going to be a tough one. And then next week, you're going to have that sandwich game, I like to say. Tampa Bay at home should be able to win that football game as opposed to, Tampa Bay just out there playing for pride. Don't think they have much left with that last game of the season at Atlanta. That's going to prove a lot, especially in Atlanta's factors. We'll get to there in just a few moments. Atlanta, again, bringing up the 3rd place spot right now, which no shame in being 8-5 at this point in the season at Tampa Bay this week on Monday Night Football, favored by close to a touchdown. They should be able to win that game, but then you're going to have 2 tough games at New Orleans on the road and then bringing up the season there with the Carolina Panthers at home. The one thing that Atlanta's going to have an advantage with getting into the playoffs, not necessarily winning the division itself. So remember back, they did beat the Dallas Cowboys and did beat the Seattle Seahawks. That's a huge tie-breaking advantage over both of those football teams. But heading down the stretch, to me, the most fun race obviously is going to be this NFC South race. For everything NFL heading into the playoffs, always check out Sportsbookreview.com.